The next generation Toyota Tacoma is going to be built as a city truck. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. And that's right, I honestly believe the next generation, the upcoming redesigned Toyota Tacoma, is going to be built as a city truck. So what am I talking about? Well, before we get into it, if you're new, or maybe you've just been hanging out and you haven't, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So let's get into it. You know, I've been thinking about this. We have a redesigned Toyota Tacoma coming, and I'm kind of looking at the Tundra for my theory on what they're going to do with the new Tacoma. So first of all, I do believe that they're going to be building it as a city truck, a street queen, a mall crawler. So why do I say that? Well, the first place we have to look at is the engine. You know, we're going to a Turbo 4. A Turbo 4? Now, the problem with the Turbo 4 is not necessarily that it's a four-cylinder. I mean, there are plenty of four-cylinder, naturally aspirated Tacomas out there that are perfectly capable off-road. The problem lies within the turbo system. You know, if you're big time into off-roading and you're taking a relatively complicated trail, you're probably going to be doing a lot of on and off the throttle, right? Slow, fast, climbing, you know, all that kind of stuff. And in doing so, you're going to be putting more stress on the engine. That, of course, is going to heat everything up under there. And if you know anything about turbos, you know they don't like heat. They don't do well in heat. So in putting this Turbo 4 in the Tacoma, they're really taking away the ability to go out and do what you should be doing, or probably are doing, in an off-road, more complicated scenario. So it's not really going to be built from an engine standpoint for running it off-road. Next up is the stance. Again, I'm looking at the Toyota Tundra. They've made it lower. The last thing you want when you're doing off-roading, even mild off-roading, if you're driving over anything, so I'm really talking about something other than a gravel road or a nice plush packed trail, you want the truck to be higher up. That's why most people that are off-roaders lift their trucks, because they want clearance underneath, right? You don't want to be ripping things off. If you've ever looked underneath the Toyota Tacoma, besides the exhaust and some other bits and pieces that hang down, there's a lot of wiring type stuff that hangs down underneath the Toyota Tacoma. You don't want that stuff catching on ruts and sticks and stones. It'll cause you problems. Well, they're not helping out the off-road community by lowering the Toyota Tacoma. It's got to be up in the air a bit, unless you're driving on the streets and you're a street queen or a mall crawler. Next up, tow hooks. Let's talk about tow hooks. You know, that's been a huge point of contention with the new Toyota Tundra. Of all things, tow hooks. They didn't put them on. There are no tow hooks. Now, it's not to say that you're always going to get stuck when you're off-roading, but let's face it, if you're taking a more challenging trail, or maybe you're a little more adventurous or aggressive, it's probably going to happen. And if there's no tow hooks on the truck, and the only way to get you out is from the front, obviously you could hook onto the hitch if you could pull backwards. But if that's not possible, what are you going to do? Strap something to the bumper? Pull the bumper off? Maybe you lift the hood and tie a chain around the engine? I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Just more evidence that the new Toyota Tacoma is going to be a city truck. Now, let's get into the interior, specifically the technology. Now, I'm all for technology, so don't get me wrong. I love technology in my vehicles, particularly the Toyota Tacoma. And I think Toyota's going to give us more of that, a lot more of that. And I'm talking primarily about that big screen that they're putting in the trucks these days. You know, you can get this big giant screen in the Tundra. I don't like the presentation of it. I don't like that it looks like they threw an iPad in there, sticks up above the dash. Just not a well-integrated unit, in my opinion. But this has nothing to do with that. What I'm talking about is the sensitivity of the electronics. You know, they're basically putting a mini computer in the truck. And if you take it out off-roading and you're jostling around all over the place, how do you think the electronics are gonna do with something like that? Not very well. I mean, could you imagine throwing your laptop or your desktop computer in the bed of your truck and then taking it out and bouncing it all over the place? How long do you think it's going to work before you have some kind of a problem? I think that's something that's going to be experienced in the new Tacoma for those that do decide to take it off-road. Not a very good idea for an off-road truck, and just more evidence, I think, that it's really going to be more of a mall crawler, a city truck. Now, let's talk about the ability to do mods to the truck. You know, first of all, we're going to have that Turbo 4 engine. I mean, what can you do with that? Can you put a cold air intake on it? Probably not. Can you do anything to power it up? Probably not. You're probably going to get what you get. There aren't going to be a lot of opportunities for mods as far as the engine goes. What about the rest of the truck? Well, of course, it's going to be new, and this is of no fault of the redesign. I mean, anytime a manufacturer redesigns a truck, the mod market or the aftermarket is going to take a while to catch up, right? It's not something that's going to happen right away. So there aren't a lot of things that you're going to be able to do from the beginning. I think the off-roaders are going to suffer a bit there. Can you even lift one of these trucks? Are there going to be lifts available for it? We don't really know yet what Toyota is doing with the suspension. We don't know what they're doing with the brakes, the rear brakes, another huge point of contention. Many people want those changed out. We'll see what they do. I kind of have my doubts that they're gonna, but you never know. The manual transmission, you know, it depends on what you're used to, I suppose. You know, the manual transmission, I believe, is going to be gone. I can't imagine that they're going to continue that going forward. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they will. I would hate to see the manual transmission disappear. And that makes it, again, more of a truck that anybody can drive. More of a city truck. A daily runner. Something that you're going to go run errands with, drive back and forth to work, put some posies in the back, stuff like that. Really more of a suburban city truck. It's a shame. You know, I think what we're going to be left with probably is maybe just the Jeep Gladiator. You know, you can still get a manual in that truck. Of course, it is an off-road beast, so you'll have that choice. And that's probably about it. There really aren't going to be a lot left that you can choose if you're big time into off-roading or manual transmissions. It's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Looking at what Toyota has done with the new Tundra, does it appear that their direction really with the trucks is now more of a city truck or mall crawler philosophy? Seems to be that way for me. Leave a comment. I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you did in the beginning, make sure you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels, RobMotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators, and RobMotive FST, all about full-size trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.